All right, hello everyone. So far what we have done, we have implemented sorting, searching, and we have got all the movies from our watch list. Everything is done, right? So right now we are just left with two features. One is very small feature, that is this delete button. We can make this work easily. But in this lecture, we'll be talking about genre-based filtering, right? So if you see, we have these cards, right? And over here we'll have multiple genres. So if you see right now, we only have default genre as action. We have written it as static. But right now what we need to do is whenever we add a particular movie, we need to get the specific genre of that movie from the API. And how we are going to get that? Because as we saw in our previous lectures, that over here when we look at our API, right? If I show this to you again, so if you see when I console log my watch list, right? So let's just check my watch list, and in my console you see these are all the movies that are coming up, right? Let's just check it in the API itself. So if I open this up, I only see the genre IDs, right? So these are the IDs of the genres, but what exactly do they mean? I don't know, right? So how can I get this out? So basically if I go over here and if I search for TMDB genres ID list, right? This particular thing. So over here, if you see, right now we have this particular website which will take us to the genre ID part. So whenever you're not able to find anything, just Google it and I'm sure you will find something about it, right? So if you see over here, yes, this is giving us all the IDs and the corresponding genre to it, right? So 28 stands for action, 12 stands for adventure, like that. So these are all the IDs and these are all the corresponding genres to it. But actually need an entire key so that I can get all of these genres. Let's basically check for this. So if I just hit on this particular API, let's see where does it takes me. Right, so it takes me over here to this place. I'll just try to hit this, and great. So I'm getting this particular result. So right now what I can do is I can just pick this up. I can just pick this up, right? The whole object, and I can save this in my file anywhere, right? What I'm actually trying to do right now is basically I'm going to copy this whole JSON data that has been generated, the whole response, and you see with corresponding to them, I have my ID and I have my action, right? So all of these things I have right now. So if I have this, what we can do right now is when we will get the ID from any movie, right? If we see right now we're getting ID 80, 18, 36, all of these things, right? So basically one movie can have multiple genres, right? It's not necessary that if this is an animated movie, this cannot be comedy. This can be comedy, right? There are some action comedies as well. There are some rom-coms as well. So basically there can be multiple genres for one movie. So that's why they have given it all of these IDs so that we can select what genre we need to keep it to, right? So that's basically the point of it. So that's why we see multiple IDs. But what we can do is we have these IDs, and now if I have this list, what I can do is I can map these particular IDs. I can map these particular IDs with these names, and I'll basically get that exact genre. So if I see over here, this says 80, right? 8080. So AD is standing over here for crime, right? So basically the first genre that this movie should have is the crime genre, right? Like that I have it over here. So what I will do is I'll just copy this and I'll save it in one of my files, right? So what we can do is let's create another folder for this, and I'll just save it like this, right? So I'll just get it, and I'll just save it somewhere. So let me just call this particular folder as my utility folder or something like that. So just on the level of my components only, I'll just create one folder and I'll call this utility, right? So let's call this my utility folder, and for this I'll just store a JS file inside this, right? So let's create a new file and I'll say genre.js, right? Like that. And let's copy all of this JSON data. So this is basically JSON, right? This is basically JSON, but I do not need JSON right now because I need all of this in JavaScript format. So what I will do is I'll just create an object, right? I'll just create an object, and with corresponding to these IDs, I'll just name the genre, right? So let me just quickly create it. All right. So I'll just rephrase. I'll just basically rearrange this, and I'll make this in the form of objects, right? So this is how I have made it. So yes. So this is how I have made this, right? So for each and every ID, I've kept them as key, and the key corresponds to its genre. So what we'll do is we'll just go to our watch list, and over here we are getting all of these particular genres. So correspondingly, we'll just map this up, right? Great. So with if we get 80, we'll return crime. If we get 28, we'll return action, like that. So we'll map it. We'll basically match it with this particular file. So I'll just import this file in my watch list. So if I go to my watch list, I'll just import this genre ID files, right? So let's see that. So I can go over here and I can just say import. I have named the object as genre IDs. So I can just get the genre IDs from the utility file, right? So get the genre ID, or get from, first let's write from dot slash if I can get my utilities or not, or let's just add genre IDs, right? This is the object's name, and then I can just do a from dot slash. I have my utility folder. From utility I need my genre file. Great. So now this genre IDs will give me access to this entire object, and now I can basically use this object to compare my genre with the IDs, right? So what basically I can do over here is I can just first map all the movies and I can give them some genre, right? So what I want to do is I basically want that whatever movie I'm adding over here, I need its corresponding genre, right? So how can I do that? So if I move to my genre area, I have my watch list over here, right? Let's move to my genre area. So where I want to show genre, over here, right? I want to show the genre over here, this place. So if I write something like this, right? So now I have my genre IDs. So whatever ID is there, I just want to pick up the first ID and I will just see the corresponding genre to it, and I'll just print it up. So I can just use my genre IDs, and from these genre IDs, what I will do is this will be inside curly brackets as I'm using JavaScript code, right? So I'll just get my genre IDs over here, right? And when I get my genre IDs, so you will basically see I do not see any changes over here. But if I refresh this, right, so basically this is not showing anything because it's not able to get this object completely. So what I'm going to get from here is I'm going to say that whatever movie object has came up, right, just get the genre ID from it, get the genre IDs from it. So genre IDs is an array of 3-4 elements, whatever elements are there. I just need the first element, right? I just need the first element, right? So what will happen is if I refresh now, why is this not working? The requested module source utility does not provide an export name default. Okay, haven't we exported our utility file? Let's check this. If I go over here, okay, we haven't exported this, so I'll just do an export default, right? Or I can add my export default at the bottom if this is not working. Export default genre IDs, right? Now I think it should work, and let's refresh everything. Okay, movie object is not defined. It should be defined, right? We're using the movie object only. If I go to my watch list, I have my movie object, popularity. Okay, we haven't added the genre tab, but we did, right? We were working on that right now. If I look at my watch list sorted, yes, over here this is saying genre ID, right? So right now, okay, this doesn't get the movie object. So I'll have to get the movie object for this particular part. So this is actually headings. I'm actually doing wrong. This should be genre only, and I should get a section for my genre over here. So this is basically my genre, right? Over here I should be doing that. So I'll just get the genre IDs, and from this genre IDs, what I will say is for whatever genre ID we have got, we now need the movie object, right? So we just need the movie object right now over here, right? I guess. Hmm. Right. So yeah, so let's get the movie object out of this, right? So I'll just say whatever movie object we have got, we just need to get that particular key over here, and that key must be the genre IDs, right? Genre underscore IDs. This must be the key in our API. We'll check this again. If this is not, we'll fix this, right? But I think this should be the thing, and then we can just say 0, right? So we need genre ID, movie object dot genre ID, ID1, right? Now let's check it. If I now refresh everything and everything is over here, great. So right now we see animation, then we see comedy, then we see fantasy, then we see drama, and so on and so forth. Great. So Leo is animation, Wonka is comedy, Dark Kingdom is fantasy, Oppenheimer is drama. Yes, I think every particular genre is now corresponding to its movie. Right? Great. Let's add something else and let's check if everything is working that way or not. So I guess fast X should be action. So let's add it and let's check it. Yes, great. So fast X is action, right? So this is how basically we have got all the genres, corresponding genres, right? So in the next lecture, we'll see that how we'll add these filters of genres, and whenever we'll click on that particular filter, those movies will come up. That will implement in the next lecture. Thank you.